Welcome to Babies from Beyond, the podcast that gives all babies a voice, whether they are still in spirit or already earthside. I'm Lauren Dionysius, a former registered NICU nurse turned baby soul communicator, and I'm here to share the wisdom of today's babies to guide you on your motherhood journey. So today I have another guest episode for you to give you a glimpse into this fascinating world of baby soul communication and just these amazing insights, perspectives, messages that today's children, whether past, present and future, can share with us, and the information that they want to share with us as well on their journey to Earth, and also once they arrive as well, because the process, it doesn't stop in my experience. So this will be like a little glimpse into the baby soul readings that I do. And just to let you know that this has been shared with Megan's full permission and the deep respect and sensitivity for her journey as well, which you'll hear a little bit about in a moment. So yeah, again, before we begin, just to remind you that every woman's journey is different. There is no right, there is no wrong, there's no hierarchy of the motherhood journey. So I really hope that something may resonate in this episode with you. That's why I'm doing these episodes. If it doesn't land for you, that's okay as well. So yeah, so I invite you just to be curious and to have an open heart for today's episode that I already can feel is going to be really powerful. So today we have Megan with us. So Megan, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I just want to invite you or give you the opportunity to share a little bit about your journey. I know you've been on a very powerful journey. So yeah, so if you'd like to share a little bit about that and where you're at now.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I am truly honored again to be in your presence and space. As you know, we met at the end of at the end of 2022 after the birth and devastating death of our son, Onyx. And I don't usually get straight away saying that.
Hey, his energy here. That's why you're feeling it so strongly. Yeah,
it's good. And I will never forget, I contacted you. I had, there was just the Instagram algorithm directed immediately you to me, and I knew instantly to connect. And I think you were actually taking some time, you're about to take some time off, and you ever so kindly opened your heart and space to me and our family. And from that moment of connection with you, I knew and trusted your authenticity in truth around connection with spirit babies and spirit. You connected with Onyx through a written reading at the time, and what came through, if I share a brief, was immediately after his death, I was called to create earth altars. And I just wanted to spend hours and hours foraging and creating. I felt that, the veil was thin. I could feel and sense him everywhere. And our home is nestled into the back of a rock wall almost. And what came through in the first reading that you gave us was that I would find him in the stones, and I would find him in the elements, and his presence was so much that came through from that time forward. Just knew that he was here with us. It gave me trust and confidence in that I would be forever connected to our son. And you helped us guide the way to believe in that possibility. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome, and thank you so much for sharing your story as well. But yeah, I've journeyed with you through a part of this journey, and it's been so powerful to not only witness your journey, but also to have this most beautiful connection with Onyx and his presence, and I know he's here today as well. So yeah, and we've already mentioned that yes, we have already done some readings in the past, and as I always say, I never remember the details of these readings, but it gives us a clean slate for today. So yeah, so Megan, for today's session, what would you like to focus on, or is there any particular questions that you would like to ask, or where are you at today?
Where I am at now, so since Onyx birth, we have since had a third child, and he was born on Onyx's due date. And it is a very interesting journey to birth a child into this life who doesn't know their sibling. And I have this deep belief that they know each other and they knew each other in spirit. And Willow, who our daughter's now 7, so she lost her brother at 4, she now has a deeper understanding of realizing that her younger brother doesn't know and hasn't lived the same experience that she has lived through loss of her brother. And so I think would be really helpful today to receive any guidance around how does their interaction and their relationship, and how does Onyx perceive it, and how does he show up in our day, and what does that look and feel like for him, and if he's got any guidance for me in trusting the new dynamic that is ever evolving at home. That would be really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see where we go. So before we get going, and I will do this off camera, off the recording, is to call in Willow's soul, Onyx's soul. And what's your little one's name?
Ochre.
We'll call in Ochre's soul as well. And yeah, so we'll do that, and then we'll see where we go. All right, so as I was doing that, I could very clearly feel all 3 of these. Well, they're calling themselves babies. They just like all 3 of my babies coming through is the words that came through, and just this really beautiful energy between them, and this, well, I can feel the emotion. It's so deep here. So I'll probably like cry here, but there's this, just this energy between the 3 of them. And on the soul level, it's almost like it doesn't, it's no different. It's so hard for me to find the words for this energy. But I'll put it this way, it feels like all 3 of them are here on the earth. And even though I know that Onyx is not here physically, it's like he still is what he's saying. He's saying that I'm here, but I've come to the earth in a different way, which is really interesting because I feel like he is here. He's just, I don't want to say just, but he's in a different form, or his role here on the earth at this time is different. And he's saying that, like, I get to experience the best of both worlds. I get to experience the earth, the present, the energy here, my siblings, my family is what he's saying. But I also get to also be a little bit more of an observer and a listener of the process as well. And he's really, like, when I feel into his energy, he feels so happy and so joyful. He's like, that I get to have both. You know, it's like the sense is I get to have my cake and eat it too, is this feeling. And Onyx, like I've worked with his energy quite a lot, and he has this incredible capacity to be very present here on the earth, despite not being in physical form. So I just really want to honor him and really thank him for his role and his purpose in this life at this time. And he's saying that he's saying, I don't mean this in a bad way, but he's saying that I'm using Willow and Ochre as well. It's like they are his. Again, it's not a hierarchical thing, but it's this feeling of his getting to, and this is what he means about the best of both worlds. He feels like he's getting to live through them in many ways without the responsibility for a physical life here. And his first like drawing me to Ochre. So how old is Ochre now, Megan?
Almost 11 months.
Almost 11 months. So he's still in his first year on the planet. But what Onyx is saying, and again, I can't remember what came up in other readings, but what Onyx is saying, and there's this real almost, I don't know, maybe sounds a little weird, but this like almost this fatherly energy towards Ochre, this feeling of like, I don't know, it's so interesting. It's this legacy is the word that keeps coming through. And the fact that Ochre was born on Onyx's due date is really confirmation of that for me, is that Ochre and Onyx have this connection. They've made this pact that is like, I came for this amount of time and I stayed for this amount of time. Now I'm handing the baton to you and you're continuing. He's saying you're not continuing my journey, you're having your own journey, but there's still this sense of them doing it together on some level, if that makes sense. But there's this real with Onyx, like this real sense. Again, it's this really sweet, like fatherly energy, even though it's like sibling dynamics, which I think shows Onyx's I want to find the right word for this, for the energy that he's sharing with me. His because this real like grounded presence is like it feels like, it's just saying, just call me like old man energy. It's okay. It's like, it's that, but it's this feeling, you know, that it's like maturity. Maybe that's a better word rather than old man energy, but it's this, like a maturity that he has, and the perspective that he can see, because obviously he has the bigger picture from where he is. So so there's this pride that he feels towards Ochre, and there's a protectiveness there as well, and a guidance there for Ochre, because I feel like Ochre, I mean, he's only very young. He's not yet one, so he's still very much finding his feet in the world and trying to understand what this whole thing's about. You know, in saying that, I do feel really strongly that Onyx is sending him a lot of the grounding energy as well. And I know, Megan, you're very connected to the earth, and so that's supporting Ochre as well in preparation for his life here. It's, even though he's here on earth, I still feel like he's a little bit in his cocoon still. He's still landing. He's still in his little bubble. And wow. And that's what he needs, you know, because I think he just needs to land slowly, you know, just in his own time and his own pace. And I think that, Onyx is really guiding that. So, and then as I feel into like Ochre's energy, and also with Willow as well, and her experience obviously of losing a little brother at the age of 4, where she's old enough to have some understanding of what's going on in the process and all of that. Absolutely challenging for her. But like when I tune into her soul, what I feel mostly is like this sense of curiosity, this sense of like, I don't understand, but I do understand. And I feel like that's the stage that she's in. Yeah. Like it's like I understand, she's starting to understand logically that Onyx isn't here, that Ochre is here, but they're not the same, and that Ochre doesn't know Onyx like I knew Onyx or felt Onyx. And so there's all of that you were saying, that she's starting to learn about this, having a little brother who has had a different experience of the world than what she has, having not had that loss. But I'm also sensing like this is where her curiosity is coming out as well. Like I feel like she's also really curious about that. Like how does that even work? Like how can we both be here in the same family and have such different experiences? And I think, you know, what I'm feeling with her energy now as it starts to come stronger, as Onyx starts to give other people, other souls some airtime here, is this feeling from Willow that I feel like that's really what she wants to share today. Like, she really wants to share that just because we're siblings doesn't mean that we're the same, and that we all have very different experiences. And also she's saying even if we have the same experiences, we still have very different experiences of those experiences, or different processes, or different adjustments or transitions or understandings of the same experiences. And this is, I'm starting to feel her, she's kind of moving into a little bit of a teacher energy now, where she's like, you know, show me the people and I'll talk to them type energy, where she's feeling like, where she's saying, yeah, to remember that and to not treat us the same just because we're in the same family and we have the same parents and we go to the same school or we live in the same house. Like, there's something in her that wants us to be really clear that we are all so different as children, that we are all different souls and we need different things from you at different times. So please don't lump us together as siblings or as a family. You know, she's sharing, like, she's sending me an image now around sending, like, she's showing me like the image of a tree, and she's like, we might have the same trunk, but we're all different branches. And so it's it's really an acknowledgement of the maybe similar roots or similar trunk in many ways, but the different experiences. So I'm just going to see if there's anything else that she wants to share, especially in relation to Onyx and like the loss of her brother. She's saying that, yeah, a big part of what her soul came here to learn is around the experience of death. And she said, even though I'm not planning to have a whole lot of death in my life, as in, I'm not saying here, the way I'm interpreting that is it's not like she's going to experience a lot of death in her life with the people around her. But for her soul, it was really important to bring that up like early in this lifetime for her. And she's saying it was important for her because I need to remember the reality of life, and also I'm feeling like the cycle of my life, but she's saying that's not the right words. It's this, I'm not sure what she's trying to say, but it's this feeling of like understanding the energy of life and the movement of life and the change of life, rather than the linear aspect of life. I don't know if that makes sense. So she says that was really important for me to have an experience of that early for my soul, because I wanted to remember that. I didn't want to forget that. I didn't want to be as shocked by death is what I would have been if I had experienced it for the first time, she's saying, in her 20s. So there's this sense for her that, again, and I always say this, like, sometimes we need to separate things a little bit from the soul's perspective versus like the very real boots on the ground 3D experience of Earth. Because obviously for a 4-year-old, it's going to be very like devastating and very confusing for a 4-year-old to understand the loss of her brother. And that's very valid. It's very true. And she's saying that she's feeling that, and she's still feeling that. She's still feeling the curiosity around that. Like her human self is still struggling to understand that and make peace with that. But again, like, her soul self is saying that it was very purposeful for her journey at this time. And also that, you know, she's saying, like, before I even came to Earth, like, Onyx, like, was there with me, and he was, I just got goosebumps, was saying to me that I'll help you with that. I'll help you with that part of your journey. And also that I want to experience this too. And Onyx's journey and coming and then leaving again, you know, he had a different purpose, a different reason behind it. But what is similar or where there's an overlap is this creating the foundations of the life ahead. But he says, I wasn't creating that for me. I was creating it for Willow, for Ochre, for you, for my dad. I was creating that for you, even though it feels like a destruction. He's saying from his perspective, he sees that as a creation. Again, it's not the right translation for the energy, but that's as close as what I can feel at the moment. Yeah, how does that feel, Megan? Or is there any questions that you have around that?
No, it feels very affirming to the energy that I feel. It's interesting sort of when 12, 18 months, 2 years after Onyx's birth, the veil still feels so thin. And it's interesting now being into our 3rd year after his birth and raising a baby, it feels there's this like push and pull of grief and joy that exists in your in my heart every minute of every day. And there is one vision that I have held or seen and felt, and there's a feeling and a vision that I have seen, and it's everything that you've said today affirms that. And the vision is when I found out that I was pregnant with Ochre, I felt this feeling of someone holding my hand and saying to me, we haven't where your life is at right now. We need to keep going. We need to I'm pulling you through. And I felt this guidance of like being pulled, but not pulled in a jerking way, like I'm holding you up. I am guiding you through, and you can make it through this lifetime, and you can make it through these seasons of life. But the other feeling that I've always had, and I describe it, is when I focus on Onyx and when I try to sense and feel his energy, I long for a baby, but I feel an old man. I feel this big old man, and that is so bizarre to be yearning for a baby. But I feel, and when I say old man, it's the wrong word, like you were saying as well. It's like this big wisdom, guidance, energy of I feel held and nurtured. So everything that you spoke about today, which is really beautiful to just to receive that confirmation of what what I'm feeling and seeing. And thank you.
Oh, thank you for sharing. And it makes more sense now, because I'm like, why is like old man energy coming? Again, even to me, even doing this work, I'm like, even that feels weird when it comes to like babies and children, like old man energy, like where did that come from? But it makes sense now what you were saying around his energy, but that's how it feels. It feels like this big, again, it's not the right word, but I'm trying to, again, translate it. It's like this, it's like a big blanket is how it feels. And there's like all of these, and he's like, sometimes I wrap people in my blanket, so it's like he's there with like, and he's got the blanket around him, and he sort of brings his arms around people. And then he's like, other times I put the blanket on the ground and invite people onto my blanket is how he feels, which I feel is also in relation to how he's supporting you with the work that you're doing with the earth, Megan. So it's like, it's that, but it's this vast energy that was way too big for this world. And also, like he's even saying now, like it's, my purpose wasn't, my purpose for this life and this time would not have fit in your world is what he was saying. And even though it's like, it's not about fitting in, it's not about this, but he's like, what I wanted to come here and do, I couldn't do in a physical body, but I'm doing it now. And I'm doing it without restrictions, without limitations. and he's loving it. He's really, as I said, I feel like he feels very much part of the earth, very much part of the family. There's such strong soul connections. And it was just like one thing that he wanted me to mention when you're talking before about like the veils, like the veil, being thin. And he was saying like, what he was saying when you were saying that is that there's more veils now. So we tend to think of like the veil as like being like one layer or like one curtain that's thin. But what he was showing me, and I've actually never seen this or even thought of this before, is it's like it's like Willow brought in like one veil, and then he sort of brought in his own veil, and then Ochre's bringing in his own veil that's still arriving. So it makes it more, I want to say complex, but not in a bad way. But it's just that he's actually saying there's more to see because of these different veils, but also that there can also be more to hide as well. So I think what he's trying to say is that there's times where if you may not feel him, it's because there's other veils in the way. And where you feel him stronger is when, there's a little bit more clarity or lightness with the veils that are around. But it feels, I don't know why, but it feels important for maybe something for you to sit with around rather than the veil. It's like the veils, plural. I don't know. That's new to me as well, but it's something, that feels like very, very strongly to share.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, I have been wondering that very concept. Yes. I feel I've been feeling since Ochre's birth that I need to delve into a different way to connect. When I did your course and we journeyed those few times together was incredible, but Ochre wasn't here then. And so I have goosebumps. There is this evolution of how to connect and feel and sense his being. And I have been, really pondering that thought, like how does that look and feel now? And that's really, really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, because I will definitely go and reflect.
Yeah, please do. And he's saying like, call my veil forward if you want to deepen your connection with me. Call my veil. I don't know. I didn't know we kind of had our own veils, but that's what he's sort of sharing or offering. So definitely something for you to meet on. Okay, this was like a really powerful reading, and there was a lot of energy and wisdom that wanted to come through. So I really want to thank Onyx and his powerful wisdom and his maturity and his blanket for being here today and for sharing his wisdom. And I really want to honor Willow too and Ochre for being here on the earth at this time, for being part of this whole process with choosing this life, even despite its challenges, and Willow for your journey and your courage for having the strength and the commitment to have an experience like this at such a young age, that I know is going to really be impactful and powerful for your journey. So thank you for coming, Willow. Thank you, Onyx, for coming. Also, thank you, Ochre, in your little cocoon. Like, hang out there, mate, as long as you need to. Come out when you're ready. And of course, Megan, thank you so much for being open again to this work, to this wisdom, and for choosing to really listen to your babies, all of them, like well beyond the physical, and allowing other women to hear your story as well, which is so powerful. And I know that many women here will resonate with the loss, the devastation and loss of a child. So thank you so much for sharing. And if this stirred something in you today when you were listening, please be gentle with yourself. The topic of loss, I don't personally like to use trigger warnings, because it's a very real part of life, and it's a very real part of the the motherhood journey, and these experiences and these souls can have so much to teach us around their journey to and from the earth. But be gentle with yourself. Please reach out and get yourself the appropriate support if you need that. And yeah, I'm always happy to support you to connect with your baby more deeply if that's something that you feel would help. Please check out the link in the show notes below if you would like some more information around this. So thank you so much for tuning in, and take care. Thank you for tuning in to Babies from Beyond. If you've enjoyed this episode, I'd love for you to leave me a review just wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, head over to Instagram and give me a follow at Born Energy, and check out the show notes for more ways that you can connect with your baby soul, including one-on-one readings and online programs to support you. Until next time, trust your journey and your baby. Take care.